Hey, what's going on, guys? Dr. Sean J. Harris here, Generational Wealth Academy. Great evening to everybody. Listen, I want to talk about something that's been kind of weighing on my heart all day today. It's actually bothering my spirit. Caden did a career day today. He does career day probably once or twice a month, and the common theme that we see at these career days is that they are the same jobs or so-called career paths that are present, which are law enforcement, fire, and transportation. And when I say transportation, it's usually someone from the transit system or someone in civil service, such as the water department, sanitation department, something like that. So I titled this talk, Kids Will Perform at the Highest Level of Their Exposure. So if you show a child only a certain level, that's the highest that they've been exposed to. That's the highest that they could possibly achieve. But if we're not exposing kids to the top level of different professions, you know, there's a difference between a job and a career. And this is not to knock anybody, your 9 to 5, your livelihood, or what you do. I was a law enforcement official. I was a deputy sheriff and a police officer for many years. It's a very important profession. Fire is a very important profession. Transportation is a very important profession. But ask yourself, are these the highest professions that we could expose our children to? Unfortunately, I see this a lot in my community, where kids look like me, kids look like my kids, where they're only being exposed to these select professions, being in the civil service typically. We went to a career day maybe about a month ago. Again, they had law enforcement, fire, sanitation, transportation, and an 18-wheeler driver, a tractor-trailer driver. Today, I guess what really bothered my spirit today was I saw a guy in just a plain old 4-door car, was not in great shape whatsoever, but he had a hydraulic kit on it. And the sad part about it is that kids gravitated to that like it was the end all, the be all. And at best, I don't know what the career was. At best, maybe he was teaching them about hydraulics. And as I explained earlier, maybe they can go into the Air Force or the Navy or something like that and learn about hydraulics on aircraft or ships and hopefully have a good career out of that. But other than that, I didn't see the point of what was being taught to these kids. But the sad part about it is that the kids gravitated to it because it was so cool. But that wasn't going to position them to learn a skill set that can create what I call a high income skill set, which will be 6 figures or more a year. So instead of just introducing our kids to manual labor jobs, I always say it's one thing to work with our hands. That's great. But we have to teach our kids, elevate our kids from just creating hand money to start making brain money. There's a vast difference, because so many times we've been conditioned growing up that it's all about working hard, and that's not the key to success. The key to success is working smart, being able to leverage, being able to have both time and money freedoms by leveraging human capital, by leveraging time. So these are things we have to expose our kids to. We have to expose them to careers such as artificial intelligence. We have to expose them to biochemists, nuclear engineering, architecture. When was the last time you saw a doctor come in for career day? I hadn't seen it. All the career days we go to, I'd never see doctors come in. I see maybe an attorney, maybe an engineer, and that's about the extent of higher learning that kids should be exposed to. So again, kids will only perform to the highest level of their exposure. If you give a kid a hot dog and a hamburger and that's the best they've ever had in their whole childhood, they don't understand what a steak dinner would be like. They don't understand higher cuisines. So Caden is going to be conducting a Wealth Fest coming up on July 29th. That'll be the 1-year anniversary of one of his citations, proclamations that he received from a city here in Georgia. He has his official Caden Day on that day, as well as on the 30th of July. So it's going to be great because it's going to be a back-to-school event. We're going to do a backpack giveaway. We're going to stuff the bus with a whole bunch of backpacks, back-to-school gear for kids for free. But the coolest part is that we're going to host a black tie gala. And what we're going to do is we're going to show what a career event should be. We're going to have in professionals. We're going to have in engineers. We're going to have in doctors. We're going to have in nuclear professions. We're going to have people that can expose kids to higher learning and higher professions to be able to have the sustainable lifestyles that we desire for our children to have. So we'll be putting out more information on that. It's going to be July 29th again. So be listening out for that and looking out for that. But just start thinking about that. Start exposing your kids to different things. If you know a pediatrician, if you know an engineer, if you know a pharmacist, if you know someone in nuclear engineering or biochemistry, get your kids around them. Let them spend a day. Have them do a shadow day. All these professions, they will allow your kids to come in and shadow them for a day or two, especially in the summer months during summer break. This past summer, Kennedy shadowed a chiropractor, a pediatrician, a couple other professions that she got around as well. But if we don't expose the babies, they could only do so well. Okay, so hopefully that was a great value add for those who had ears to hear, eyes to see. I'm Dr. Sean J. Harris. Make impact and make money while you're doing it.